Limark.
Watch out!
What? When we last left the Mad God Sheogorath / like and subscribe, we had collected another skull for the Hill of Suicides, and we're planning on grabbing one more, but got distracted by some bullshit in Crucible. But in what is probably going to be the penultimate episode of this series, we wanted to check around Bliss and make sure we'd not missed any fun quests here before grabbing the skull. Welcome back to the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion. Ah, right, it's good to be back. And just adjust my volume a little bit. There we go, it's quiet in my headphones. I don't think we've spoken to everybody in here, but we will check, right? See if there's any fun stuff. I don't anticipate we will find anything. Is this the guy that moved out into the streets? I think it is. I don't know why he's so obsessed about people going into his house then. Faerdal, Ironfall. Ironfall's is locked though. There we go. Still waiting on the new microphone. One of the things that has me a little worried is it's a company that I've only dealt with once before, and they completely trashed the thing that I had ordered. It was marked with fragile. It was supposed to be in a secure box, and the box itself was secure. It was packed well, but yeah, they just threw it at the door basically. So, I mean, I'm kind of worried about finding out if my second experience with this company is going to be as bad as the first. I'm hoping it's not going to. I'm not going to name the company just in case they do a good job this time. You know, all it needs is one disgruntled employee, right? That's all it needs. One disgruntled employee. Nothing up here, just a little shrine, so we've cleared all that area. This is Amiable Fanrien. There we go. So what you got? Another downside of that is I have the blinds up. What is going to be one of the hottest days. So I'm feeling full force. I'm gonna get. I know for a fact I'm gonna get sunburnt waiting for this parcel, trying to record while I'm doing it like a fool. I could have sat around and waited, but you know, I don't know. I've already sat around and waited most of the weekend, so didn't really fancy it. This is quite a nice house, isn't it? Oh, yeah, it is a nice house. It's got turned around there. Very big. Very big, lots of statues, not really much else to it though. Okay, is there a basement? No, it doesn't look like there's anything more, right? So this bit, that goes back to the other side. Actually, no, that's the same one that we went in, isn't it? Is it? Yeah, it is. Alright, let's get out of here. Nobody there. Talk to everybody.
Once I've perfected my...
Oh, we've talked to you. You're the crazy juggler.
Bye.
Common treasures. I don't... Is this the one that asks for the calipers and shit?
Blessings of the Mad God.
That's me. Rumors?
Some say the Grummites are the original inhabitants of the Shivering Isles. See you later.
Which is strange, right? If the Grummites are the original residents, then what about the Mazkin? Did Sheogorath not create the Grummites? And if he didn't create the Grummites, how did they come about if he created the land, the Shivering Isles? Well, still nothing there. This guy.
Hurry, before everything falls on top of us.
Okay, yeah, no, we've just been in your house. It's fairly chill. Nobody here.
I stand ready, Lord.
Choosy Beggar, I believe this is the Argonian one.
Your lips.
But I don't think we can do anything here, even though there is a little bit of intrigue. In regards to... Why have they got a bridge in here? Why have they got a bridge in here? It's very odd. Yeah, there's a little bit of intrigue with these guys in regards to... Ooh, a wife or something? They're worried about their wife? Oh, come on. Where's my little cursor gone? Come on. There we go. Nice. Yeah, there's nobody here. Nobody here. Oh, there it is. There we go. Nobody here too? Is there a book or anything that tells me? No, it's just a guide. Yeah, I think we really are kind of at the tail end. I don't think there is anything else that we need to do here. Okay, let's just double check around here. We're in Jordrara's house. Okay. No. Doesn't look like there's anybody or anything in here either. Is this one of the places that has a sweet roll though? No. Good for alchemy ingredients, but not much else. Not much else. Okay.
Did you see my last performance? Did you like it?
Choosy Beggar we've been to. Nobody's down here? Nope. Nobody's down there. Yeah, I think we'll move on. Because I really don't think there's much here.
Blessings of the mad.
Rumors.
The best armor.
Yeah, don't really care for that.
You're no fun. I bet you don't.
Oh, Big Head's house. Can we steal back the Fork of Horripilation? Maybe. I wouldn't mind. But I doubt it. Oh no, there is stuff here. Can we just auto-attempt, please? There we go. That's just a fork. There we go. None of them are the Horripilation one though, so he might have that on his person, which, I don't want to kill him to get it back. Yeah, just a regular fork. It's nice that... Oh, yeah, look at that. Pitchforks too. It's nice that they have so many reoccurring characters, right? Although Big Head's not in the Skyrim Creation Club, I don't think. Well, he'd be dead. Like, long dead, right? At that point? There's references to him, I believe, but... I don't believe we ever met him, though. Unless it's a title? It may have been a title passed down the line, you never know. No, nobody here. Okay. He's normally in this... I want to say Sancellum or Sancellum or whatever it is. I don't really think we're going to bump into anything else right now. Anything up here? Tove the Unrestful. Huh. You know, I don't think we've ever met a Tove the Unrestful. He's not home, wherever he is. At least I don't think so. Whoop. There we go. I mean... He may be unrestful because he doesn't have a bed. No, he does have a bed. He's just building a boat in his house for some reason. I mean, it's weird, but it's a hobby. I don't think there's anything there either. Okay, well, unless we find Tove the Unrestful and speak to them. I think that might be about everything.
At your command, Lord Sheogorath.
Because all we're missing is like the shops then, right? Oh yeah, we've done a full loop.
Yes?
Books of Bliss. Is he in here? Maybe this is his shop. Oh geez, you got jumped out of your seat there.
So, how'd you like to get together later and leaf through my octavo?
Oh, the horny lady. Yeah, okay.
Goodbye.
Great. Are you? Who are you? Why
May
I?
all my children serve you.
No.
Certainly.
Oops. Yeah, nobody there.
Protect my little ones.
What little one she means?
Yes?
Oh yeah, we understand you now, don't we?
Take care.
Singings and ringing.
Yep, big head, cool.
Goodbye.
Missing pauldron, that's the armor place. Yep, I think we have been literally everywhere. Huh. Yeah, I thought maybe we'd run into a quest, but obviously not. Obviously not. Can we get out of here then? How do we even get out of here now? I spend so little time in Bliss. I mean, the people here, kind of cool. Actually, no, do you know what we need to do? We need to go... Oh, it's on the other side of this skull. It's over in... It's in the dementia side, right? Ah, shit. How do we... There we go. And... Rotten Den. There it is. Let's just go straight to it. We wasted a bit of time walking around there. I'm not really going to sort of drag you across. Hey. I wonder if we time that really well. We time that on the jump and hit them. Will they do the classic video game thing of launching straight upwards? Could be worth trying if we ever get to a place where it's open enough to do that. Hard to do in the Shivering Isles, actually. There's a lot of mushrooms. There's a lot of stuff in the way. Oh. Dead treasure hunter? 1 gold. Don't want to say no to that. Oh, it's those stupid things. Come here. Stop running. Oh, really? There we go. Now we can deal with you adequately. Stop running! Jeez, he's so fast. He's got quite good magic resist then, because he resisted the paralysis there as well. Okay, good. Let's take that. Jeez. Oh, god damn it. I'm stuck. Right. Sorry, yeah. For whatever reason, it kept casting the spell there. It's like it was locked into just casting. Very odd. We could go up here. Deal you. And you're easy to deal with. Good stuff. We got heart chest. Yeah, I'm not anticipating the Umaril fight will take that long. I feel like it'll be a case of we'll run through, because we're going to have help, right? They're probably all going to die, but there'll be help. And then what? You know? I'm going to try and do it the old-fashioned way, but I am aware that may not be possible. You don't have to actually use the items to kill them, I don't think. But I think we should, right? We should try. I might make up some custom spells for, like, buffing myself or, you know, buffing my health or attack or something like that, right? Is it up here? No, but it feels like a very this is where it would be type place, doesn't it? Where are they? They're in the middle somewhere. I don't see him. Oh, you're over there, huh? Yep. There you go. Enjoy some magic. Right, greater staff for stopping. Strong potion healings. We've got so many of them we don't need it. I want to find an altar of some sort then, right? That's where I would guess it would be. But which? Let's have a look at the map. Precipice. And there is a... Huh, have we not been underground there? Okay, well let's drop down into the underground. Let's have a look here. Oh no, we have been on... Oh, that's the route. Right. So we have been there. And I guess we've potentially followed that way to go to the precipice? Oh, those assholes. Let's heal up a little bit. Now, we've not been here. That's promising. Hello. Whoa! What was that? What killed me? What spell is that? Hang on, hang on. What spell is that? That's on self. What did I do? Was it something to do with what I did there? Oh, I made myself fast, but also weakness to magic. Okay, that's where the dumbness came in. Because then they hit me with that fireball and obliterated me. Oh god, are we right back here? Really? Shit. Okay, hello. Let's deal with you quickly this time. Okay, finally, not going to bother checking. It's all good. Just all the way around. Good shit. We could probably just ignore all of these guys. I don't want to fight them again. I really can't be bothered.
If it's a fight,
Maybe you.
ah,
Yeah. Okay, Daedric Longsword. There wasn't anything worthwhile in there, so I'm not even going to bother. But it definitely feels like this sort of series has come to its, I guess, logical conclusion. I had kind of felt like it was probably going to go on a bit longer. But the only reason it's gone on this far is because I want to finish reading the real Barenziah, right? Speaking of, I still need to go onto the Wikipedia, because apparently Damone has told me that it's a lot more graphic and that I definitely should read it. Yeah, I will. I'll have a look at it. Just interesting to see what sort of war they get away with, right? I reckon in Morrowind they probably tried a bit more. Well, no, it wasn't even in Morrowind, it was in Daggerfall. I suppose Daggerfall was before Bethesda had a big sort of chain of success. Because if you remember, Redguard, which came out just before Morrowind, almost bankrupted the company. Like, if it wasn't for Morrowind, Bethesda would not exist, right? Morrowind is what put them forward and kind of got people intrigued in the series, and you know, now we've got Oblivion, Skyrim, 6 on the way somewhere down the line.
if it's a fight you want, it's a fight you'll.
Can I jump up there? I can. Whoa! See ya. Okay, is there a skull up here? feels like a skull place, right? So it's a weird location. Yeah, take that, sure. No skull, though. Let's go ahead and do that, and we'll jump back across, and we'll go this way. Yeah, it's intriguing to sort of look back at the history of Morrowind being the catalyst for everything else that we got that was, you know, come afterwards, which has been amazing, you know? Oh, come on. Let me jump forward. Can I get up there? Maybe. Maybe. No, I don't think I can. Oh, yes I can. Haha. Oh, it'll be down there, right. It's gotta be. Hello. There we go. Deal to you swiftly as we can. Ebony short sword. Oh yeah, I forgot they did the big kick, right? I forgot they did that. Oh jeez, he got obliterated. Hello. What else you got? Nada. Okay, right. A couple more down here and we can have a good look. I don't think she'd realise she died there. Come down here. There we go. I think you should go down fairly quick. You're not a Breton, are you? No, they might be, actually. They may be a Breton. They may be a Breton. Yeah, okay. Good stuff. Right, let's just have a double check around here, make sure there's no skull. Do you know what we need? We need a light spell. Let's see, what have we got for light? Maybe on target? Not that I can see. Must have one on self. I mean, I know we had one. Because it used to be that horrible green colour. We changed it. Lightning... What would it even be called? Starlight. There we go. Okay, that's a little better. We can see where we're going now. No, no skulls. Can we get up that? Oh, we can't get up that. We've got to get this one. Right, there we go. And we've got a lot of gold. No skulls. Not in the mouth or anything, no. There are a bunch of, like, doors off, right? Would it be in the encampment? Maybe. I mean, that's a way out. So potentially. Oh, I also looked up the Sickly Bunny stuff, and yeah, apparently she does send you out every couple of days to get more of that Aqua Nostrum. There we go. Okay, nothing we want. No, you! That's what the paralysis is for. Such a cheese spell. Yeah, I'm glad we didn't go straight to magic from the offset, because it would have made the playthrough very boring. Where did they go? Where are they? Oh, there's one over there. But yeah, we struggled. We struggled learning the mechanics for a long time. Oh, you're an actual dude. You're not a summon. Oh no, you are a summon. Where is the... Huh. You up here somewhere? Yeah, you tried. Up this one, maybe? What is this? This goes to Deadfall.
Oh!
Oh, you're over here somewhere. There we go. I believe you're high elf, so you should melt relatively quickly. But you did. Good, good, good. So it does look like there's a bunch of places to go. Sanctum. Sanctum sounds promising, right? Unless it's one place we've already been? No, it's not. Ooh. Hup. Precipice? Hollow. Okay. Interesting. Bunch of gnolls? Oh no, they're not gnolls, they're shambles. Weird. Yeah, I don't know where exactly this skull is. But we might as well explore a little bit, right? Yeah, this is all shambles all the time. Just like my life! Okay, nothing there. So that goes back around. More shambles? I mean... What's this stuff? Possibly? I suppose we should do something about you, right? Yeah. Let's deal with them. Take it down. Very noisy. Very, very noisy, aren't they? You don't see these very often. Like, usually there's only one or two. And that's it. So the fact that we're dealing with so many now? Yeah. Yeah, I just want to check down here because there are a lot of skeletons. I thought maybe, just maybe, it's in one of these. But it isn't looking likely. Unless we check the skellies. No, just bone meal. Nope. And the skelly too? Yeah, just bone meal. Interesting. You know what? We should actually put Starlight on 2. We don't use the speed spell very often because we are fast enough. Oh, it was on self, wasn't it? Starlight. There we go. Nice. Root door. Okay. Nothing of any note. Oh wow, that's pretty brutal. Go, good stuff. Now we're into Grummite territory. But no, still shambles. Who is making the shambles, though? It's quite clear that the skeletons are a mashup of everything else, right? There's like even little leather that's like holding stuff together that shouldn't be where it should, well, where it is. Okay, that's all that done. Yeah, I don't know what I'm looking for. Let's have a look at our map again. So all those go back there. Interesting. That's all caved in. I mean, that's the most aggressive track we've seen for a while, right? Those are the down bits. Where are the up bits? How do we get to there? Oh, is that... Oh, I know. Right, no, I figured it out. You drop down on this one, right? There's like a drop down. So this all goes to the hollow. In the hollow, we have found nada. Nothing. Granted, it is very dark in here. You know, let's just have a little squiz. Whereabouts in the rotten den is it? Does it say? I don't think it does. Let's see. No, it's not looking like it. Don't think it actually tells you where it is, which, you know, I kind of like. You've got to look for it. I mean, my gut is telling me it's gonna be in Sanctum, right? That's what my gut is telling me. Because all the other ones don't really sound like a finale type place. I mean, there is a chance that I also missed it on the wiki there. But I mean, I only glanced. I don't want to spend time reading through an entire list of a walkthrough to find it. I would rather find it myself. But I thought, in the interest of time, maybe, just maybe, it would give me a hint early on. But it did not. So my guess is Sanctum. And I guess we will see if we are correct shortly. There we go. Right, how do we get to the Sanctum? That's the one there. Takes us back to Sanctum. Wait. Huh. So we're back here. Oh, I wonder if it's that in here somewhere. Maybe. Huh. Ooh. Oh. Oh, hello. Is there another way down? There is. I'm assuming they both meet up, but if they don't, I'm going to go in this one because it's closer to the direction we want to go, right? Yeah, I don't think they do. Okay. So we're back in here. We did theorize that maybe there'd be some sort of... I don't know. I don't see a way through to that bed. It's not up on top, is it? No? Oh. It's not that, is it? Yep. Because that's the way we came down, isn't it? Oh, maybe not. We got another one of those traps. Oh, yeah, this will be it, right? Oh, we've actually got back into a dungeon of sorts. Deal with the zealots. Oh, and that looks like our skull there. Boop. Madness helmet matrix, nice. Yeah, I think that is it. Cool. We got everything we wanted out of that, which is good. Took us a while. Now, how do we get out of this dump is the question. I mean, that's taking us back to the precipice. Not that we can get up there anymore. Alright, let's follow this. We'll get out. Go return the skulls. Kind of clear that up completely. This place is a mess. Okay. That takes us back to Sanctum 2. But none of them... Oh no, we are here. Precipice. Okay. Ah, right. Then we can go out the normal way. Gotcha. That's a bit windy, that dungeon. Very windy. And then to the deadfall, I guess. How do we get there? This way? I guess this one? Oh, that goes somewhere else. Let's check where this goes first.
Was the last mistake you'll ever make.
Deal with you. Okay. Takes us to the Sanctum as well. What seemed to go to the Sanctum? Which I suppose, looking back on it, it's probably to guide you to the skull, right? Okay. Let you know that something's amiss. Realm of Sheogorath. So we want to drop down? I think. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one. That's what we want to do. Cool. Man, we got quite a bit of damage to us, actually. And we're good. Right. So, Hill of Suicides. I'm pretty sure we've looked at everything over here, but I just want to kind of check on this area a little bit before we head back to that hill. Just make sure that we've got everything off the locations. Again, I'm not anticipating that we're going to run into any quests that we've missed. I definitely feel like we have got everything done there. Oh, clipping through that. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything coming up, is there? Normally we'd see something on our map by now, so I think that is also clear. Oh no! Oh, I stand corrected. There's a little camp. We'll clear it out. For the sake of completion. I suppose that's always my worry with a lot of these RPG games is it's... depending on how it's built, it's very easy to overpower, right? Skyrim, it wasn't as easy to overpower. You could, for sure, definitely, but you had to kind of make a conscious effort to do so. What I've found with Morrowind is that I guess the very early Daedric weapon we got kind of did do that. We didn't get the normal progression that you get from like iron to silver to whatever, to ebony to Daedric. but also it's there for a reason. It is part of the gameplay mechanics. It's not like it's not meant to be an option. But I think because there are so many, I guess, different things in Morrowind that we have not tried to do, once we finish our current Morrowind playthrough, I am likely, I think, to go back to it and start a new character. I did hear, actually, there's a mod, like an ongoing mod pack called Tamriel Rebuilt that adds all of Morrowind, not just Vardenfell, all of Morrowind. And that's getting regular updates, so I'm kind of intrigued in getting that and going a different route through the Morrowind story and then going on to the Tamriel Rebuilt stuff. It looks like a really cool mod. I feel like a lot of effort has gone into it. Where is the hill? It's there. Okay. So it's definitely something that is on my to-do list, but we're talking like way down the line yet. We are, as far as I know, quite far off in the main quest of Morrowind. We've got all the different factions to do. I anticipate the Morrowind series is going to take, I don't know, at least a year and a half, 2 years. So from that, you know, we would then switch up and put something else in. And as far as like a new series that's going to replace Oblivion, I mean, there's a few options. Subnautica was rolled around a little bit. It is something that I have been meaning to do, to play. But also, I've kind of got the Fallout 3 stuff in the works. Which, you know, just my luck. We are, you know, every game that we've sort of started, there's been some sort of effort to update, to re-release. So we've had Oblivion, Fallout 3 is on its way, now Fallout New Vegas is on its way, but I'm actually excited for that one because maybe it would be stable enough to play. Granted, we would need an upgrade in the computer. How I'm going to do that, I have no idea. Let's hope the channel takes off enough that I can afford it. Where am I going? I'm like completely off track. Well, we're following the arrow, we shouldn't be. So, no. Let's get up here and... I think it's over that way, isn't it? We're still going the right way? No. It's this way. This way. There we go. Very easy to get turned around in here. Okay. You should see it relatively soon. Oop. Ah! Is that it? That might... Oh no, there it is, right? I think. It's hard to tell when you can't see the ghosts. The ghosts will give it away, and we've got rid of most of them. It is this one? Yeah. Ah, it's this... okay, yeah. Obvious now. Let's see. We've got our friend up here. Is it Limark? Limark.
Watch out!
What? Why do they scream "watch out" at me? Medesi. Oh, he just runs off. Risen Flesh added. Oh, did we get a cool new spell? Let's check that out. Like I said, never done this quest, so... all new. Risen Flesh. It's not a target spell. Reanimate for 60 seconds. Oh! Is this more like the Skyrim? Oh, it's cast power and I can't cast it on that. Okay. What can I cast it on? Let's go find a body. What we could do is we could go to one of the camps and try it there. I am intrigued. I want to find out what that does. Because that's like a much better King of Worms staff, right? Because I think that's the only other... Well, I won't say better, because you can only use it once. It's only for 60 seconds, but... Let's see, let's go to Camp Tortrees. We got some fellas to poke. It's hunger. I had a hope that maybe we'd run into the... not Zealots, the other ones. Dreamwalk camp. There we go, that's what we wanted. Let's deal with these guys, and see if we can actually raise them from the dead. Come on. Are you just a random hunger, or are you actually the hunger? Heretic, that's right. Heretic. Alright, let's see. Let's use our spells. And it was... Power. Risen Flesh. How does it work? Oh! Yeah, it is. It's exactly like the Staff of Worms. Hello. You talk at all? No. He does look kind of sad to be here, doesn't he? I mean, of course he would be. Why wouldn't he be? He's a heretic, and this god that he's against has just killed him, and then brought him back just to mock him. I mean, it is very Sheogorath of me, isn't it? That's a very Sheogorath thing to do. Bring back a heretic just to laugh at them. Have no task for them. And then eventually watch them die. Again. Which should be any second. It's been about 60 seconds, hasn't it? Yeah, 60 seconds is almost up, buddy. You'll be going to your afterlife fairly soon. Or not. Maybe it's just... Oh. Nice. All right. Let's go back in and read our books, shall we? Which I think should close off the real Barenziah, because yeah, we read number 4. I'm sure of it. Yeah, so we can actually drop that book. Ooh. And the real Barenziah, Part 5. As Symmachus had predicted, the theft of the Staff of Chaos had few short-term consequences. The current Emperor Uriel Septim sent some rather stiff messages expressing shock and displeasure at the staff's disappearance, and urging Symmachus to make every effort to locate its whereabouts and communicate developments to the newly appointed Imperial Battle Mage, Jaegar Farn. Farn. Why does that name ring a bell? Is there a battle mage called Farn in Oblivion? In whose hands the matter had been placed, who would probably be like the son or grandson of this one, right? Farn! Symmachus thundered in disgust and frustration as he paced about the small chamber where Barenziah, now some months pregnant, was sitting serenely embroidering a baby blanket. Jaegar Farn indeed. Aye, I wouldn't give him directions for crossing the street. Not if he were a doddering old blind sot. What have you against him, love? I just don't trust that mongrel elf. Part Delk elf, part high elf, and part the gods only know what. All the worst qualities of always combined bloods, I'll warrant, he snorted. No one knows much about him. Claims he was born in southern Valenwood, of a wooden elven mother. Seems to have been everywhere since. Barenziah sunk in the contentment and lassitude of pregnancy. Had only been humouring Symmachus thus far, but now she suddenly dropped her needlework and looked at him. Something had piqued her interest. Symmachus, could this Jaegar Farn have been the nightingale disguised? Zemeckis thought this over before replying. Nay, my love. Human blood seems to be the one missing component to Farn's ancestry. To Zemeckis, Barenziah knew that was a flaw. Her husband despised wood elves as lazy thieves and high elves as effete intellectuals. But he admired humans, especially Bretons, for the combination of pragmatism, intelligence, and energy. Wow, he's actually not racist against humans. The Nightingales of Ebonheart, of the Ratham clan, House Lalu, the House of Mora in particular. I'll be bound, that house has had human blood in it since her time. Ebonheart was jealous that the staff was laid here when Tiber Septim took the horn of summoning from us. Barenziah sighed a little. The rivalry between Ebonheart and Mournhold reached back almost to the dawn of Morrowind's history. Once the two nations had been one, all the lucrative mines held in fief by the Rathams, whose nobility retained the high kingship of Morrowind. Ebonheart had split into two separate city-states, Ebonheart and Mournhold, when Queen Leon's twin sons, grandsons of the legendary King Morrowlane, were left as joint heirs. At about the same time, the office of High King was vacated in favour of a temporary war leader to be named by a council in times of provincial emergency. Still, Ebonheart remained jealous of her prerogatives as the eldest. I always thought it was prerogatives, but maybe I'm just dumb. Prerogatives as the eldest city-state of Morrowind. First among equals was the phrase its rules often quoted, and claimed that rightful guardianship of the Staff of Chaos should have been entrusted to its ruling house. Mournhold responded that King Morrowind himself had placed the staff in the keeping of the good Effen, and Mournhold was unarguably the god's birthplace. Why not Jaeger Farn of your suspicions, then? Let him recover the thing. As long as it's safe, what does it matter who recovers it or where it is, or where it lies? Zemeckis stared at her without comprehension. It matters, he said softly after a while. But I suppose not that much, hey? He added. Certainly not enough for you to concern yourself further with it. Oh, certainly not enough for you to concern yourself further with it. You just sit there and tend to your... And here he smiled at her wickedly. Embroidery. Barenziah flung the sampler at him. It hit Zemeckis square in the face, needle, thimble and all. Yeah, good on you. In a few more months, Barenziah gave birth to a fine son, whom they named Helseth. Helseth. That name rings a bell too. Nothing more was heard of the Staff of Chaos or the Nightingale. If Ebonheart had the staff in its possession, they certainly did not boast of it. The years passed swiftly and happily. Helseth grew tall and strong. He was much like his father, whom he worshipped. When Helseth was 8 years old, Barenziah bore a second child, a daughter, to Zemeckis' lasting delight. Helseth was his pride, but little Morgia, named for Zemeckis' mother, held his heart. Sadly, the birth of Morgia was not the harbinger of better times ahead. Relations with the Empire slowly deteriorated for no apparent reason. Taxes were raised and quotas increased with each passing year. Zemeckis felt that the Emperor suspected him of having a hand in the staff's disappearance and sought to prove his loyalty by making every effort to comply with the escalating demands. He lengthened working hours and raised tariffs and even made up some of the difference from both the royal exchequer and their own private holdings. But the levies multiplied, and commoners and nobles alike began to complain. It was an ominous rumble. Yeah. I want you to take the children and journey to the Imperial City, Zemeckis said at last in desperation one evening after dinner. You must make the Emperor listen, else all Mournhold will be up in revolt come spring. He grinned forcibly. You have a way with men, love. You always did. Barenziah forced a smile of her own. Even with you, I take it? Yes, especially with me, he acknowledged amiably. Both children? Barenziah looked over towards a corner window where Helseth was strumming a lute and crooning a duet with his little sister. Helseth was 15. By then, Morgia 8. They might soften his heart. Besides, it's high time Helseth was presented before the Imperial Court. Perhaps, but that's not your true reason. Barenziah took a deep breath and grasped the nettle. You don't think you can keep them safe here. If that's the case, then you're not safe here either. Come with us, she urged. He took her hands in his. Barenziah, my love, heart of my heart. If I leave now, there'll be nothing for us to return to. Don't worry about me, I'll be all right. I can take care of myself. and I can do better if I'm not worrying about you or the children. Barenziah laid her head against his chest. Just remembered that we need you. I need you. We can do without the rest of it if we have each other. Empty hands and empty bellies are easier to bear than an empty heart. She started to cry, thinking of the nightingale and that sordid business with the staff. My foolishness has brought us to this place. He smiled at her tenderly. If so, 'tis not so bad a place to be. His eyes rested indulgently on their children. None of us shall ever go without or want for anything. Ever. Ever, my love, I promise you. I cost you everything once, Barenziah, and Tiber Septim. Aye, without my aid, the Empire would never have begun. I helped its rise. His voice hardened. I can bring about its fall. You may tell Uriel Septim that. That, and that my patience is not infinite. Barenziah gasped. Symmachus was not given to empty threats. She'd no more imagined that he would ever turn against the Empire than that the old house wolf lying by the grate would turn on her. How? She demanded breathlessly, but he shook his head. Better that you not know, he said. Just tell him that I told you, should he prove recalcitrant, and do not fear. He's septim enough that he will not take it out on the messenger. He smiled grimly. For if he does, if he ever harms the least hair on you, my love, or the children, so help me all the gods of Tamriel, he'll pray that he hadn't been born. Aye, I'll hunt him down, and his entire family, and I won't rest until the last septim is dead. The red dark elven eyes of Symmachus gleamed brightly in the ebbing firelight. I plight you that oath, my love, my queen, my Barenziah. Barenziah held him as tight as she could, but in spite of the warmth of his embrace, she couldn't help shivering. Barenziah stood before the Emperor's throne trying to explain Mournhold's straits. She'd waited weeks for an audience with Uriel Septim, having been fobbed off on this pretext or that. His Majesty is indisposed. An urgent matter demands His Excellency's attention. I am sorry, Your Highness, there must be some mistake. Your appointment is for next week. No, see? And now it wasn't even going well. The Emperor did not even make the slightest pretense at listening to her. He hadn't invited her to sit, nor had he dismissed the children. House of Stud as a carven image, but little Morgaya had begun to fuss. The state of her own mind didn't help her any. Shortly upon arrival at her lodgings, the Mournholdian ambassador to the Imperial City had demanded entry, bringing with him a sheaf of dispatches from Symmachus. Bad news, and plenty of it. The revolt had finally begun. The peasants had organised around a few disgruntled members of Mournhold's minor nobility, and were demanding Symmachus step down and hand over the reins of government. Only the Imperial Guard and a handful of troops whose families had been retainers of Barenziah's house for generations stood between Symmachus and the rebel. Hostilities had already broken out, but apparently Symmachus was safe and still in control. Not for long, he wrote. He entreated Barenziah to try her best with the Emperor, but in any case she was to stay in the Imperial City until he wrote to tell her it was safe to go back home with the children. She tried to barge her way through the Imperial bureaucracy with little success, and to add to her growing panic, all news from Mournhold had come to a sudden stop. Tottering between rage at the Emperor's numerous majordomos and fear of the fate awaiting her and the family, the weeks had passed by tensely, agonizingly, remorselessly. Then one day the Mournholdian ambassador came calling to tell her she should expect news from Symmachus the following night at the latest, not through the regular channels but by Night Hawk. Seemingly by the same stroke of luck, she was informed that the same day by a clerk from the Imperial Court that Uriel Septim had finally consented to grant her an audience early on the morrow. So the Empire totally has been fomenting the revolt, right? That's my feeling, is they've had a hand in this. At the end of the day, Morrowind is a vassal state for the Empire. They've chosen who's in charge, and they've chosen how to extort resources. And now they're deciding, yeah, we've done what we can here, but we want full control. So they're trying to get rid of the current government. There'll be a period of chaos. Again, we're getting a lot of real-life parallels with the world at the moment, but yeah, there's a bit of chaos. They put in their own puppet leader again, a new one that's a bit more willing to hand over everything. And no one will stop them. The Emperor greeted the three of them when they came into the audience chamber with a too bright smile of welcome that nonetheless didn't reach the eyes. Then as she presented her children, he had gazed at them with a fixed attention that was real, yet somehow inappropriate. Barenziah had been dealing with humans for nearly 500 years now, and had developed a skill of reading their expressions and movements that was far beyond what any human could ever perceive. Try as the Emperor might to conceal it, there was a hunger in his eyes, and something else. Regret? Yes, regret, but why? He had several fine children of his own, why covet hers? And why look at her with such a vicious, however brief, yearning? Perhaps he had tired of his consort. Humans were notoriously, though predictably, inconstant. After that one long gaze, burning glance, his gaze had shifted away as she began to speak of her mission and the violence that had erupted in Mournhold. He sat still as stone throughout her entire account. Puzzled at his inertia and vexed no end, Barenziah stirred into the pale, set face looking for some trace of the Septim she'd known in the past. She didn't know Uriel Septim well, having met him once when he was still a child. Oh, is this Uriel Septim the Seventh? And then again at his coronation 20 years later. Twice, that was all. He'd been a stern and dignified presence at the ceremony, even as a young... Well, we know Uriel was a bit of a player, right? He got around. He had plenty of children, and some of those children didn't know they were his children. Even as a young adult, yet not icily remote as this was more mature man was. In fact, despite the physical resemblance, he didn't seem to be the same man at all. Not the same, yet something about him was familiar to her, more familiar than it should be, some trick of posture or gesture. Suddenly she felt very hot, as if lava had been poured over her. Illusion! She had studied the arts of illusion well since the nightingale had deceived her so badly. She had learned to detect it, and she felt it now, as certainly as a blind man could feel the sun on his face. Illusion. But why? Her mind worked furiously even as her mouth went on reciting details about Mournhold's troubles. Vanity? Humans were oft as ashamed at the signs of aging as elves were proud to exhibit them, yet the face Uriel Septim wore seemed consistent with his age. Barenziah had dared use none of her own magic. Even petty nobles had means of detecting magicka, if not actually shielding themselves from its effects, within their own halls. The use of sorcery here would bring down the Emperor's wrath as surely as drawing a dagger would. Yeah, true. Like you don't pull magic in front of a head of state, right? That's a way to immediately ramp up tensions. Suddenly she was brought to mind of the nightingale, and then he was sitting before her. Then the vision changed, and it was Uriel Septim. He looked sad, trapped, and then the vision faded once more, and another man sat in his place, like the nightingale, and yet unlike. Pale skin, bloodshot eyes, elven ears, and about him a fierce glow of concentrated malice, an aura of eldritch energy, a horrible destructive shimmer. This man was capable of anything. And then once again she was looking into the face of Uriel Septim. How could she be so sure she wasn't imagining things? Perhaps her mind was playing tricks on her. She felt a sudden vast weariness, as if she'd been carrying a heavy burden too long and too far. She decided to abandon her earnest narrative of Mournhold's ills, as it was quite plainly getting her nowhere, and switch back to pleasantry. Pleasantry, however, with a hidden agenda. Do you remember, sire? Symmachus and I had dinner with your family shortly after your father's coronation. You were no older than tiny Morgia here. We were greatly honoured to be the only guests that evening, except for your best friend Justin, of course. Ah, yes, the Emperor said, smiling cautiously, very cautiously. I do believe I recall that. You and Justin were such friends, your Majesty, and I was told he died not long after. A great pity. Indeed, I still do not like to speak of him. His eyes turned blank, or blanker, if it had been possible. As for your request, milady, we shall take it under advisement and let you know. Barenziah bowed, as did the children. A nod from the Emperor dismissed them, and they backed away from the Imperial presence. She took a deep breath when they emerged from the throne room. Justin had been an imaginary playmate, although young Uriel had insisted a place be set for Justin at every meal. Not only that, Justin, despite the boyish name, had been a girl. Symmachus had kept up the joke long after she had gone the way of imaginary childhood friends, inquiring after Justin's health whenever he and Uriel Septim met, and being responded to in as mock-serious a fashion. The last Barenziah had heard of Justin several years ago. The Emperor had evidently joked elaborately to Symmachus that she had met an adventurous, though incorrigible Khajiit youth and married him, and settled down in Lilandril to raise fire ferns and mugworts. The man sitting on the Emperor's divan was not Uriel Septim. The Nightingale? Could it be? Yes, a chord of recognition rang through her, and Barenziah knew she was right. It was him. It was the Nightingale masquerading as the Emperor. Symmachus had been wrong. So wrong. What now, she wondered frantically. What had become of Uriel Septim, and more to the point, what did it mean for her and Symmachus and all of Mournhold? Thinking back, Barenziah guessed that their troubles were due to this false emperor, this Nightingale-spawned glamour. Or whatever he really was, he must have taken Uriel Septim's place shortly before the unreasonable demands on Mournhold had begun. That would explain why relations had deteriorated for so long, as humans reckon time, long after her disapproved liaison with Tiber Septim. The Nightingale knew of Symmachus's famed loyalty and knowledge of the Septim House, and was effecting a preemptive strike. If that were the case, they were all in terrible danger. She and the children were in his power here in the Imperial City, and Symmachus was left alone to deal with troubles of the Nightingale's brewing in Mournhold. What must she do? Barenziah impelled the children ahead of her, a hand on each shoulder, trying to stay cool, collected, her ladies-in-waiting and personal knights escort trailing behind. Finally they reached their waiting carriage. Even though the suite of rooms was only a few blocks from the palace, royal dignity forbade travel on foot for even short distances. And for once, Barenziah was glad of it. The carriage seemed like a kind of refuge now, false as she knew the feeling must be. A boy dashed up to one of the guards and handed him a scroll, then pointed towards the carriage. The guard brought it to her. The boy waited, eyes wide and shining. The epistle was brief and complimentary, and simply inquired if King Erdweir of Wayrest, of the province of High Rock, might be granted an audience with the famed Queen Barenziah of Mournhold, as he had heard much of her and would be pleased to make her acquaintance. Barenziah's first impulse was to refuse. She wanted only to leave the city. Certainly she had no inclination towards any dalliance with a dazzled human. She looked up, frowning, and one of the guards said, "Milady, the boy says his master awaits your reply yonder." She looked in the direction indicated and saw a handsome elderly man on horseback, surrounded by half-dozen courtiers and cavaliers. He caught her eye and bowed respectfully, taking off a plumed hat. "Very well," Barenziah said to the boy on impulse. "Tell your master he may call on me tonight after dinner." King Erdweir looked polite and grave, and rather worried, but not in the least love-struck. At least that was something she thought, pensively. Barenziah stood at the tower window, waiting. She could hear, so she could sense the family's nearness, familiar's nearness. But though the night sky was clear as day to her eyes, she could not yet see him. Then suddenly he was there, a swift-moving dot beneath the wispy night clouds. A few more minutes and the great Nighthawk finished its descent, wings folding, talons reaching for her thick leather armband. She carried the bird to its perch, where it waited panting as her impatient fingers felt for the message secured in a capsule on one leg. The hawk drank mightily from the water till when she had done, then ruffled its feathers and preened, secure in her presence. A tiny part of her consciousness shared its satisfaction at a job well done, mission accomplished and rest earned, yet beneath it all was unease. Things were not right even to its humble avian mind. Her fingers shook as she unfolded the thin parchment and pored over the cramped writing. Not Symmachus's bold hand. Barenziah sat slowly, fingers smoothing the document while she prepared her mind and body to accept disaster calmly, if disaster it would be. Disaster it was. The Imperial Guard had deserted Symmachus and joined the rebels. Symmachus was dead. The remaining loyal troops had suffered a decisive defeat. Symmachus was dead. The rebel leader had been recognized as King of Mournhold by Imperial envoys. Symmachus was dead. Barenziah and the children had been declared traitors to the Empire and a price set on their heads. Symmachus was dead. So the audience with the Emperor earlier that morning had been nothing but a blind, a ruse, a charade. The Emperor must have already known. She was just being strung along, told to stay put. Take things easy, milady. Queen, enjoy the Imperial City and the delights it has to offer. Do make your stay as long as you want. Her stay? Her detention. Her captivity, and in all probability her impending arrest. She had no delusions about her situation. She knew the Emperor and his minions would never let her leave the Imperial City, ever again, at least not alive. Symmachus was dead. Milady? Barenziah jumped, startled by the servant's approach. What is it? The Breton is here, milady. King Erdweir. The woman added helpfully, noting Barenziah's incomprehensions. She hesitated. Is there news, milady? She said, nodding towards the Nighthawk. Just taking a sip of water, hang on. These books are big. Nothing that will not wait, Barenziah said quickly, and her voice seemed to echo in the emptiness that suddenly yawned like a gaping abyss inside her. Seated the bird, she stood up, smoothed her gown, and prepared to attend on her royal visitor. She felt numb. Numb as the stone walls around her, numb as the quiescence of the night air, numb as a lifeless corpse. Symmachus was dead. King Eadweir greeted her gravely and courteously, if a bit fulsomely. He claimed to be a fervent admirer of Symmachus, who figured prominently in his family legends. Gradually he turned the conversation to her business with the Emperor. He inquired after details, and asked if the outcome had been favourable to Mournhold. Finding her non-committal, he suddenly blurted out, "My Lady Queen, you must believe me. The man who claims himself the Emperor is an impostor. I know it sounds mad, but I know." Barenziah said with sudden decisiveness, "You are entirely correct, my Lord King. I know." Eadweir relaxed into his seat for the first time, eyes suddenly shrewd. "You know? You're not just humouring someone you might think a madman?" "I assure you, my lord, I am not." She took a deep breath. "And who do you surmise is dissembling as the Emperor?" "The Imperial battle mage Jagar Tharn." "Ah, my Lord King, have you perchance heard of someone called the Nightingale?" "Yes, my lady. As a matter of fact, I have. My allies and I believe him to be the one and the same man as the renegade Tharn." "I knew it." Barenziah stood up and tried to mask her upheaval. "The Nightingale, Jagar Tharn. Oh, but the man was a demon. Diabolical and insidious, and so very clever. He had contrived their downfall seamlessly, perfectly. Symmachus, my Symmachus." Eadweir coughed diffidently. "My lady, we need your aid." Barenziah smiled grimly at the irony. "I do believe I should be the one saying those words, but go on, please. Of what assistance might I be, my Lord King?" Quickly the monarch outlined a plot. The mage Rhea Silmain, of late apprenticed to the vile Jagar Tharn, had been killed and declared a traitor by the false emperor. Yet she had retained a bit of her powers and could still contact a few of those she had known well on the mortal plane. She had chosen a champion who would undertake to find the Staff of Chaos, which had been hidden by the traitorous sorcerer in an unknown site. This champion was to wield the Staff's power to destroy Jagar Tharn, who was otherwise invulnerable, and rescue the true Emperor being held prisoner in another dimension. However, the champion, while thankfully still alive, now languished in the Imperial dungeons. Tharn's attention must be diverted while the chosen one gained freedom with Rhea's spirit's help. Barenziah had the false Emperor's ears, and seemingly his eyes. Would she provide the necessary distraction? "I suppose I could obtain another audience with him," Barenziah said carefully, "but would that be sufficient? I must tell you that my children and I have just recently been declared traitors to the Empire. In Mournhold, perhaps, milady, and Morrowind. Things are different in the Imperial City and the Imperial Province, the same administrative morass that makes it near impossible to obtain an audience with the Emperor and his ministers also quite assures that you would never be unlawfully imprisoned or otherwise punished without benefit of due legal process. In your case, milady, and your children's, the situation is further exacerbated by your royal rank. As queen and heirs apparent, your persons are considered inviolable. Sacrosanct, in fact." The king grinned. "The imperial bureaucracy, milady, is a double-edged claymore." So at least she and the children were safe for the time being. Then a thought struck her. "My Lord King, what did you mean earlier when you said I had the false emperor's eyes? And seemingly at that." Eadweir looked uncomfortable. It was whispered among the servants that Jagar Tharn kept your likeness in a sort of shrine in his chambers. I see. Her thoughts wandered momentarily to that insane romance of hers with the Nightingale. She had been madly in love with him, foolish woman, and the man she had once loved had caused to be killed the man she truly did love. Loved. He's gone now. She still couldn't bring herself to accept the fact that Symmachus was dead, but even if he is, she told herself firmly, my love is alive and remains. He would always be with her, as would the pain of living the rest of her life without him, the pain of trying to survive each day, each night without his presence, his comfort, his love, the pain of knowing he would never see his children grow into a fine pair of adults who would never know their father, how brave he was, how strong, how wonderful, how loving, especially little Morgia. And for that, for all you have done to my family, Nightingale, you must die. Does that surprise you? Edwere's words broke into her thoughts. What? Does what surprise me? Your likeness in Fawn's room. Oh. Her features set imperturbably. Yes and no. Edware could see from her expression that she wished to change the subject. He turned once again to their plans. Our chosen one may need a few days to escape, milady. Can you gain him a bit more time? You trust me in this, my lord? King, why? We are desperate, milady. We have no choice. But even if we did, why, yes. Yes, I would trust you. I do trust you. Your husband has been good to my family over the years. The Lord Symmachus is dead. What? Barenziah related the recent events quickly and coolly. Milady, Queen, but how dreadful. I'm so sorry. For the first time, Barenziah's glacial poise was shaken, and the face of sympathy she felt her outward calm start to crumble. She gathered her composure and willed herself to stillness. Under the circumstances, milady, we can hardly ask. Nay, good my lord, under the circumstances I must do what I may to avenge myself upon the murderer of my children's father. A single tear escaped the fortress of her eyes. She brushed it away impatiently. In return, I ask only that you protect my orphan children, as you may. Edward drew himself up, his eyes shone. Willingly do I so pledge, most brave and noble queen. The gods of our beloved land, indeed Tamriel itself, be my witnesses. His words touched her, absurdly, yet profoundly. I thank you from my heart and my soul, good my lord king, Edward. You have mine, my children's everlasting gratitude. She broke down. She did not sleep that night, but sat in her chair beside her bed, hands folded in her lap, thinking deep and long into the waxing and waning of the darkness. She would not tell the children. Not yet. Not until she must. She had no need to seek another audience with the Emperor. A summons arrived at first light. She told the children she expected to be gone a few days, bade them give the servants no trouble, and kissed them goodbye. Morgia whimpered a bit. She was bored and lonely in the Imperial City. Helseth looked dour but said nothing. He was very like his father. His father. At the Imperial Palace, Barenziah was escorted not into the great audience hall, but to a small parlour where the Emperor sat at a solitary breakfast. He nodded a greeting and waved his hands towards the window. Magnificent view, isn't it? Barenziah stared out over the towers of the great city. It dawned on her that this was the very chamber where she'd first met Tiber Septim all those years ago. Centuries ago. Tiber Septim, another man she had loved. Who else had she loved? Symmachus, Tiber Septim, and Straw. She remembered the big blonde stable boy with sudden and intense affection. She never realized it till now, but she had loved Straw. Only she'd never let him know. She had been so young then. Those had been carefree days, halcyon days. Before everything, before all this, before him. Not Symmachus. The Nightingale. She was shocked in spite of herself. The man could still affect her. Even now, even after all that had happened, a strong wave of inchoate emotion swept over her. When she turned back at last, Uriel Septim had vanished and the Nightingale sat in his place. You knew, he said quietly, scanning her face. You knew instantly. I wanted to surprise you. You might at least have pretended. Barenziah spread her arms, trying to pacify the maelstrom churning deep inside her. I'm afraid my skill at pretense is no match for yours, my liege. He sighed. You're angry. Just a little, I must admit, she said icily. I don't know about you, but I find betrayal a trifle offensive. How human of you. She took a deep breath. What do you want of me? Now you are pretending. He stood up to face her directly. You know what I want of you. You want to torment me. Go ahead. I'm in your power, but leave my children alone. No, I don't want that at all, Barenziah. He came near, speaking low in the old, caressing voice that had sent shivers cascading through her body. The same voice that was doing the same thing to her here and now. "Don't you see? This was the only way." His hands closed on her arms. She felt her resolve fading, her disgust at him weakening. "You could have taken me with you." Unbidden tears gathered in her eyes. He shook his head. "I didn't have the power. But now I have it all. Mine to have, mine to share, mine to give. To you." He once more waved his hand towards the window in the city beyond. "All of Tamriel is mine to lay at your feet, and that is only the beginning. It's too late. Too late. You left me to him. He's dead. The peasant's dead. A scant few years, what do they matter? The children can be adopted by me, and we'll have others together, Barenziah. Oh, and what children they'll be, what things we shall pass on to them. Your beauty and my magic. I have powers you haven't even dreamt of, not in your most untamed imaginings." He moved to kiss her. She slipped his grasp and turned away. "I don't believe you." "You do, you know. You're still angry, that's all." He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Tell me what you want, Barenziah. Barenziah, my beloved. Tell me, it shall be yours." Her whole life flashed in front of her. The past, the present, and the future still to come. Different times, different lives, different Barenziahs. Which one was the real one? Which one was the real Barenziah? Oh, they set the title! Hey, they did the thing! For by that choice, she would have determined the shape of her fate. She made it. She knew. She knew who the real Barenziah was and what she wanted. "A walk in the garden, my liege," she said. "A song or two, perhaps." The nightingale laughed. "You want to be courted? And why not? You do it so well. It's been long, besides, since I've had the pleasure." He smiled. "As you wish, milady Queen Barenziah, your wish is my command." He took her hand and kissed it, now and forever. And so they spent their days in courtship, walking, talking, singing and laughing together while the Empire's business was left to subordinates. "I'd like to see the staff," Barenziah said idly one day. "I only had a glimpse of it, you recall." He frowned. "Nothing would give me greater pleasure, Heart's Delight, but that would be impossible." "You don't trust me?" Barenziah pouted, but softened her lips when he leaned over for a kiss. "Nonsense, love. Of course I do. But it isn't here," he chuckled. "In fact, it isn't anywhere." He kissed her again, more passionately this time. "You're talking in riddles again. I want to see it. You couldn't have destroyed it." You've gained in wisdom since we last met." "You inspired my hunger for knowledge somewhat." She stood up. "The Staff of Chaos can't be destroyed, and it can't be removed from Tamriel, not without the direst consequences to the land itself." You impress me, my love. All true. It is not destroyed, and it is not removed from Tamriel. And yet, as I said, it isn't anywhere. Can you solve the puzzle?" He pulled her to him, and she leaned into his embrace. "Here's a greater riddle still," he whispered. "How does one make one of two?" "That I can, and will show you." Their bodies merged, limbs tangled together. Later, when they had drawn a bit apart and he lay dozing, she thought sleepily, "One of two, two of one, three of two, two of three. What cannot be destroyed or banished might be split apart, perhaps." She stood up, eyes blazing. She started to smile. The Nightingale kept a journal. He scribbled entries onto it every night after quick reports from underlings. It was locked in a bureau, but the lock was a simple one. She had, after all, been a member of the Thieves Guild in a past life. In another life. Another Barenziah. One morning, Barenziah managed to sneak a quick look at it while he was occupied at his toilet. She discovered that the first piece of the Staff of Chaos was hidden in an ancient dwarvish mine called Fanglair. Although its location was given only in the vaguest of terms, the diary was crammed with jotted events in an odd shorthand that was very hard to decipher. All Tamriel, she thought, in his hands, and mine, and more perhaps, and yet, for all his exterior charm, there was a cold emptiness where his heart should have been, a vacuum of which he was quite unaware, she thought. One could glimpse it, now and then, when his eyes would go blank and hard. And yet, though he had a different concept of it, he yearned for happiness too, and contentment. peasant dreams, Barenziah thought, and straw flushed before her eyes again, looking lost and sad. And then Ferris, with a feline Khajiit smile. Tiber Septim, powerful and lonely. Symmachus, solid, stolid. Symmachus, who did what ought to be done, quietly and efficiently. The Nightingale. The Nightingale, a riddle and a certainty, both the darkness and the light. The Nightingale who would rule all and more, and spread chaos in the name of order. Barenziah got reluctant leave from him to visit her children who had yet to be told of their father's death, and of the Emperor's offer to protection. She finally did, and it wasn't easy. Morgaya clung to her for what seemed an era, sobbing wretchedly, while Helseth ran off into the garden to be alone, afterward refusing all her attempts to speak to him on the subject of his father, or even to let her hold him to her breast. Edward called on her while she was there. She told him what she had discovered so far, explaining that she must remain a while yet, and learn more as she could. The Nightingale teased her about her elderly admirer. He was quite aware of Edward's suspicion, but he wasn't the least bit perturbed, for no one took the old fool seriously. Barenziah even managed to arrange a reconciliation of sorts between them. Edward publicly recanted his misgivings, and his old friend, the Emperor, forgave him. He was afterward invited to dine with them at least once a week. The children liked Edward, even Helseth, who disapproved of his mother's liaison with the Emperor and consequently detested him. He had become surly and temperamental as the days passed, and frequently quarrelled with both his mother and her lover. Edward was not happy with the affair either, and the Nightingale took great delight at times in openly displaying his affection for Barenziah just to nettle the old man. They could not marry, of course, for Uriel Septim was already married, at least not yet. The Nightingale had exiled the Empress shortly after taking the Emperor's place, but had not dared harm her. She was given sanctuary by the Temple of the One. It had been given out that she was suffering from ill health, and rumours had been circulated by the Nightingale's agents that she had mental problems. The Emperor's children had likewise been dispatched to various prisons all across Tamriel, disguised as schools. "She'll grow worse in time," Nightingale said carelessly, referring to the Empress, and eyeing Barenziah's swollen breasts and swelling belly with satisfaction. "As for their children, well, life is full of hazards, isn't it? We'll be married, your child will be my true heir." He did want the child, Barenziah was sure of that. She was far less sure, however, of his feelings for her. They argued continually now, often violently, usually about Helseth, whom he wanted to send away to school, inverted commas maybe, in Somerset Isle, the province farthest from the imperial city. Barenziah made no effort to avoid these altercations. The Nightingale, after all, had no interest in a smooth, unruffled life, and besides, he thoroughly enjoyed making up afterward. Occasionally Barenziah would take the children and retreat to their old apartment, declaring she wanted no more to do with them. But he would always come to fetch her back, and she would always let herself be fetched back. It was ineffable, like the rising and setting of Tamriel's twin moons. She was 6 months pregnant before she finally deciphered the location of the last staff piece, an easy one, since every dark elf knew where the Mount of Dagoth was. When she next quarrelled with the Nightingale, she simply left the city with Edward and rode hard for High Rock and Wayrest. The Nightingale was furious, but there was little he could do. His assassins were rather inept, and he dared not leave his seat of power to pursue them in person. Nor could he openly declare war on Wayrest. He had no legitimate claim on her or her unborn child. True to form, the imperial city's nobility had disapproved of his liaison with Barenziah, as they had so many years ago of Tiber Septim's, and they were glad to see her go. Wayrest was equally distrustful of her, but Edward was fanatically loved by his prosperous little city-state, and allowances were readily made for his eccentricities. Barenziah and Edward were married a year after the birth of her son by the Nightingale. In spite of this unfortunate fact, Edward doted on her and her children. She, in her turn, did not love him, but she was fond of him, and that was something. It was nice to have someone, and Wayrest was a very good place, a good place for children to grow up, while they waited and bided their time, and prayed for the champion's success in his mission. Barenziah could only hope that he wouldn't take very long. Whoever this unnamed champion was, she was a dark elf, and she had all the time in the world. All the time. But no more love left to give, and no more hatred left to burn. She had nothing left. Nothing but pain, and memories, and her children. She only wanted to raise her family and provide them a good life and be left to live out what remained of hers. She had no doubt it was going to be a long life yet, and during it she wanted peace and quiet and serenity of her soul as well as of her heart. Peasant dreams. That was what she wanted. That was what the real Barenziah wanted. That was what the real Barenziah was. Peasant dreams. Pleasant dreams. Oh, there we go. That is the real Barenziah. And we'll have to see if we can find the biography of Barenziah in Morrowind so we can read it there as well. Knowing that we got the real Barenziah out of the way, that's kind of cool. I like that. But I guess we go on to the penultimate, well, it would be the final episode, next episode, as we go and take on Umaril. I think regardless of what happens there, I would like to get that done. So it may be that it's a particularly long episode if we are fighting everything, or it may be a shortish episode. We will see. I'll try and weigh it up as we go. But either way, yeah, I think we're done on the Shivering Isles fully now, and we can move back into what is the last quest of the Knights of the Nine. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I shall see you next time. Bye for now.
Hello.
What is it, pond scum?